Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today we're just going to be doing a quick kit review on the Airfix 148 scale BAE Hawk Trainer Mark 1. This kit's been around for a few years now, so you've probably seen some reviews on it. As I'm in Australia, I'm going to point out some differences between this version and the one in Australian service as well. So just bear with me as we do that as we go through. But let's have a look at what we get in the box. So first of all, I've opened up most of the parts because they all come individually bagged, which is great. Stopping the loose parts flying away. And we've got on the instruction sheet here, quick rundown on the plane, in service, so on and so forth, and in multiple languages like Airfix does. Now, bear in mind, this is not an overly expensive kit, so it's a what I'd call a value kit. So it's not going to have the level of detail as other brands, sort of like Hobby Boss or anything like that. But you know, we'll go through it and just see exactly what you get, so you know what you're getting when you spend your money. First things first, the instruction sheet, pretty simple. Right, shows you very easily. Shows you very simply where everything goes. You got your part callouts and everything like that. You should have some color callouts as well. Shows you options for your flaps. So I believe they're fixed, but you can. They're fixed to the wings, but you can actually cut them. We'll check that in a second. You got your fuselage there. Top section, rear wings, main wing, landing gear, a few other bits and pieces. Just keep going through. Your flap assemblies, hard points, more to do with the gear. They're pretty simple and easy to follow. And there's nothing overly complicated about this. Anyone should be able to really follow that quite simply. All right. So let's have a look. Sorry guys, it's a big sheet, small area in front of me. So let's have a look. So we've got all the decals, point out on the finished models. So what's this one? This is Royal Air Force in Wales, 2006. All right, so it's all the decal callouts for that. Sorry, I'll just zoom back in. Come on, Mr. Camera. There you go. Pretty simple. All right. We've got another one here, both black schemes, Somerset, England. Once again, this should be very similar, if not identical. And we've got the last one here, Devon, England. So you got the grey scheme there with pretty cool actual markings on the back. The tail there, pretty nifty. Right, so it does give you colour call out, tells you what the colours are. I don't think there's a conversion, or there isn't a conversion on this, so you have to figure out within your own brands whether whether you use Tamiya or Humble or Mr. Hobby or whatever you happen to use, what the correct colours would be, but you at least match them because they have provided you with a really nice colour sheet here, which is good. I wish you could see more of this with some other manufacturers because they really are handy, especially if you haven't got a conversion for other brands. You can match it up, pretty closely by eye, and work it out from there. Right, so that's the manual. What do we actually get? So let's have a look. We've got a decal sheet here, and in the immortal words of Mr. Scribble, upside down. I don't know how many people get that, so just forgive me, I'm old. Let's have a look. Pretty cool. Right, they all look to be on register very well. They don't look overly thick. You can see the light reflecting on some of them there. They look pretty good. They look very good. Certainly for a budget kit, you got plenty of options there. Excellent. Alright, moving on to the next one. Canopy. The Canopy I've left in the bag at the moment because I'm not going to be building this kit, so I wanted to keep it protected. What I will say is the Canopy part is actually quite thick. If you can see it there, it is really on the heavy side. Now they've got, I think in real life that's actually like a deck cord which they use in injection to break up the canopy. That looks fairly heavy as well. It probably would be better off giving you a decal sheet or something for that. But still, it's there. Most of the other parts look fine. There's nothing too fancy about that. But the front's just, the canopy itself is just, you know, a bit chunky. That's right. Now, interestingly, the finish on these is sort of a dull finish, and usually tend to find most of the model kits I open up these days are shiny, but this is sort of a matte or a satin finish, which is just kind of odd. Now, for Australian modelers, this actual version of this plane is a fair bit shorter than the one we have in Australian service. Now, I'm assuming it might be different avionics, different engine, something like that, which has changed the shape. But it is definitely, the one that we have is definitely a lot longer than this one here. And I mean, when you compare the two kits side by side, where you compare the Hobby Boss one versus this one side by side, there's almost an inch difference in length. And I don't think that's got to do with kit sizing issues. I think it's just that the fuselages on our planes are different, and significantly so. But let's have a look here. Nice panel lines. All right, they're not overly heavy. Some of them probably a little bit so, but not too bad. Pretty good. All right, so that's fuselage half. Let's have a look at the other one. Check that out. Very similar. Can't see any sink marks or anything like that. Anything defects that are going to need fixing. It looks pretty nice and crisp. Pretty good. Let's have a look on the back side here, because it didn't show you. Now you got the landing gear bay, and you've got the cockpit walls molded into the fuselage halves. It's the same on the other part as well, which I didn't show you. Sorry, let me just grab that and have a look. So you can see them both there. Very similar. Yeah, I think that's really pretty basic. I mean, that's what you'd expect from a lower cost kit, but I think it's probably just a little bit too basic. Just a little bit more effort there. Could have been a fair bit better. Same when it goes for the cockpit controls. You know, they're really rudimentary. They look very, very basic. Not a huge amount of detail on them. Not awful, but you could improve them with aftermarket options. So on and so forth. Let's have a quick look over here. Side winders, pretty basic. Got your fins there to attach. Not too hard at all on your pylons. Everything there, which going down the wings. Now, another difference for the Australian modelers is the wing fences. So we actually have different wing fences on ours that run along the leading edge here. So you've got small fences on this, and I believe in the kit there's one or two parts you put on there, but ours are different again. And I think the Hobby Boss kit is probably the closest to that, if not more accurate. But yeah, let's just have a look. Pretty basic in the wheel wells. Not a huge amount of detail there again. It's not the end of the world. Curiously, they've molded detail into the underside of the upper part of the wing for the wheel wells as well. Yeah, aftermarket once more probably help you with that. You could probably do a bit of scratch building too if you wanted to. Now, one thing which I found about these wings, which I really didn't like, you can see on the left here. Right, now, I haven't seen this on really any other reviews, but you can see the wing here bends. So that's the lower part of the wing, and it bends with the frame. It's just not molded all that well. Right, so that's pretty average. And then you look at the upper wing, and that's got a similar problem. So I'll just put it against the red there so you can see it. See the difference? All right, so it's really bowed quite well there, and I don't know how well you'd be able to correct that. It's pretty pretty horrendous. So You could put it together. I'm sure if you clamp it down, or do the old cloth peg method, you could correct it a fair bit. Maybe heat it up with a bit of warm water to try and fix it. But just look at that. Right through there versus here. Now, as I was saying, I haven't seen it on any other kits. It's probably just luck of the draw. If you have bought one of these and you've had that same problem, please put it in a comment below so others know. Also, if you've built it, they know how you've corrected it, and whether or not it was as big an issue as I'm making it out to be. I think that's pretty average. It is a cheap kit after all, and that should be fixable without too much trouble. But it's whether or not it's going to sit correctly in the end of it. Is it still going to have that warp to it, even though the pieces are joined? Were you able to get that out? That'd be great to know. Landing gear. All right, so landing gear is partly molded the part of the wheel's molded into the gear, which is different. I have seen it on some other kits, and it wasn't really that big an issue. No, not the end of the world. As long as it fits properly and this part doesn't stick out too much and look like a sore thumb, it's okay. Now those wings there, they're not bad. Detail on them's pretty basic. A couple of lines, not a lot to them. Right, have a look at those. Right, simple again. Keep going. Tanks on the side, very basic. Not a huge amount of panel lines or anything like that. Now there's another piece which is a bit skewiff, and that looks like the flap. So have a look at that. There's another part that's molded poorly. You see the one next to it's quite reasonable and flat, and that one's got a nice curve to it. So that should be easy fix. Once again, put it in some warm water. Don't boil water and then put it in boiling water. You don't want to melt it, but you want to put it under warm to touch water. Soak it in there, and you should be able to bend that back quite reasonably. But that's yeah. Alright, what else we got here? So we got a few other bits and pieces, engine intakes, so on and so forth. Cockpit details. Alright, so those are the seats. They're pretty basic, and the controls, once again, pretty basic. So if you really want to do this version and you want the cockpit to look nice, definitely get an aftermarket. Alright, have a look at the pilot figures. Pilot figures, a little bit of flash on them to tidy up, nothing huge. So you can see there's a little bit there sticking out the bottom of his foot. It's not the heel of his shoe. There's a little bit of mold seams, things like that around the side, so it's not the end of the world. Detail on them's not great, but I've seen worse. Once again, it's up to you. Use them, replace them, don't use them, whatever. The rest of the detail, pretty basic. So, overall, we haven't spent a fortune on this kit, right? So it's a budget kit. That is certainly a plus. It has a few issues with it, yes. Are they going to destroy it? No. You should be able to correct the issues that are there. It looks quite reasonably well done. There's no great big sink marks. There's no huge seam issues that look like you're going to be sanding and puttying for a while. There might be some fit issues when you put the fuselage together, things like that. It's sort of typical aircraft modelling issues with cheaper kits, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Is it suitable for an Australian version? Yeah, not really. There are some very key differences there, and I would probably look at getting the other kit, the Hobby Boss kit, as we were mentioning. And but other than that, quite good. It would actually, I think, it should build up to quite an interesting model. These versions and the colour sheets I've got in there are quite good. So if you can fix those little issues with the construction, of it, then it should be quite a pleasant kit to build. Aftermarket availability on something like this should be quite high, so there should be plenty of things available in the aftermarket for it. Yeah, definitely I would say give it a crack. Probably not for a junior modeler who's just starting out. Probably give them something a little bit easier to work on where they don't have to fix issues like that. But other than that, not too bad. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. But all right, well, thanks for joining me. Let me know if you enjoyed this, or if you didn't enjoy it, let me know why. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. If there's anything else I could do better, that'd be great to know. And look, please like and subscribe and keep the videos coming. That'd be awesome. I love it when I get subscribers and likes and feedback. It's fantastic. So just let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.